So we're here at the workbench, and Dave, you've got a lot of strange things to my little brain over here, bud.
Well, we're talking about flounder fishing, and it's a big fish to catch. It's one of the fish in the triple slam. A trout, a redfish, and a flounder is what you want to catch when you go inshore fishing.
Right.
And so, they've been hit pretty hard in the last few years, so they're trying to do things, to make sure that we have more and more flounder every year. So that they're coming down with some of the you used to be able to keep a lot of flounders, and now you can only keep 5 in certain times of the year and only 2 in other times of the year, and those things are changing all the time. So you just want to make sure you call the Texas Department of Game before you go out fishing. Make sure you know all the rules and stuff. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you, because if I do, it'll be wrong. But when you're wanting to go out there, obviously rod and reel fishing is a great way to do it. Waiting for them is great to do. It's fun to do. What you got to do is, a flounder is an ambush predator, buries himself in the sand on the bottom. So anything that you're going to be fishing with, you want to keep close to the bottom.
Right.
They really love live baits. They love live shrimp. They love a live mud minnow. We call them a killifish. But it's a mud minnow. Any small white bait, and a good way to fish them is on a Carolina rig like this. You don't have, if you're fishing in really heavy current, which it's a good thing to do. If you find moving water and bait and stuff in the water, it's always a good place to start, because they're going to be laid up in a spot where the bait's coming to them. They don't swim around to chase things much. They stay pretty much where they're at and wait for the bait to come to them. And when you find one, you usually find more than one, because they pool up together, and in some of these back bays and stuff. In the spring, they'll be up. In the summer, they'll be in the back bays. And the first cold front comes through in the fall, they start to migrate out of the bays to the Gulf. They want to go spawn in the Gulf of Mexico. They spawn in like 100 feet to 200 feet of water out there. But so you catch a lot of them during that migration, because you can pretty much tell where they're going. If you get into the cuts and the channels and whatnot that are heading from the deep bays out into the Gulf, and you target those areas, should do well, especially during the fall.
So the key seems to be make sure you're on the bottom.
Right.
You like using a kale hook, like this eagle claw kale hook?
Correct. I picked that kale hook out for a reason. They have a very sharp, hard mouth, and it gets pretty big for how big the fish is. But when you let them eat a live bait, you got to let them eat it. The good thing to do is to bounce this thing along the bottom, can make a long cast, and then just slowly drag it along the bottom. And when you feel that bump, don't do anything. Just let it go until you feel a pull on the other end, and then you set the hook, because they will grab things and let it go, or just grab the end of the fish, and because they have all those teeth, that's how they kill things, with their teeth.
Right.
They stab things to death with those nasty teeth, and the bigger the bait is, the more likely that they're going to chew on it before they swallow it and make sure it's dead. So you got to make sure that you let them eat when they eat, and let them eat a little more and eat a little more, especially when you're using a live bait. Now, when you're using a jig, this would be a great jig to use. A jig head with a Fish Bites bully club on there. They love any kind of taste. A regular Fish Bites will work on a pompano jig. Just a little regular Fish Bites on there. Any type of mullet imitator that you can bounce on a jig head works. Where you can catch a lot of them is if you can get into a marina or someplace that's close. A lot of marinas say you're not supposed to fish in there, but they love to hang under a boat.
Anytime. And why is that? Because it washes in and out?
I guess because there's a little depression, underneath of where if a boat's hanging in a slip and the guy's going in and out, there's a little depression under there. And if there's water moving over that depression, they will pool up underneath boats, and even your boat. Right. If you're in the inlet, if you're sitting on the jetty and you anchor up in that jetty and you sit there for a while, before long, they'll start coming and gathering up underneath your boat. They like to get in that shade for some reason. I don't know if it keeps the bait in that area or what. But the big thing to do up there is to gig them. You get out there and you put lights all over your boat, or you can you get some Jerry's LEDs like these, which I'll be talking about during new products. But you get out there and you wade with these lights in the water, and you stick them with that big heavy gig.
A gig.
Yeah, and you just it's just loads of fun.
All right. Well, I can't wait to talk about the lights.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more
and
about
the
lights.
new products, Brie.
He even